Hi everyone, welcome to podcast episode number 13. I cannot believe this is going so fast. It would have not been possible without having this amazing whole technology. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Leon is my guest today. So what is Leon doing is amazing. We'll talk about that. He is an AI builder. He has been an AI builder speaker before, and he is building public. Tell us more about yourself and what do you do?
Yes, happy to. I'm deep in the content game. I've been passionate about it for years. I was running a marketing agency in that space for over 8 years. And I slowly noticed the shift towards founder-led marketing, and also the power of AI just got me really excited about building. So I went to SF for half a year to really get better at
By the way,
building
SF means San
myself.
Francisco.
Yeah, San Francisco. And lived in a hacker house with other technical people and just was building stuff for a couple of months to really get better on the technical side. And maybe we can also talk about this, how it is for non-technical people, because I was studying mostly business at university, but got really excited just by the possibilities that AI gave me.
So everything that you have been building, you're telling me you didn't study university?
It's self-taught. I studied
like computer science and
I
stuff?
studied computer science in a minor, but
Okay.
computer science at TUM in Germany is a very theoretical endeavor.
Yeah.
You don't really learn building.
Yes.
It might have helped to understand like database concepts
Yes.
and stuff like that, but I wasn't really able to build stuff myself after the bachelor's.
So you're mostly business focused,
Yes, the studies.
and the stuff that I have seen you build, it's
self-taught.
really a lot of technical thing. So tell us, what are you building right now?
Yes, right now I'm building public. It helps founders create distribution through their personal brand. As I said, I had this marketing agency and noticed how much more powerful it is to do founder-led marketing, founder-led content. People just like to trust people and not faceless companies. But at the same time, if you're a founder, if you're a builder, you just want to focus on building your company, building your product, and you don't want to become a content creator or influencer.
Yeah. And one fun fact is that Leon also is a very good LinkedIn influencer. You have 4 million reach for 6 months, or how was that?
I think it was 4.5 million the first year.
That's amazing.
And grew from really, I had 0 followers when I started.
Oh, that's impressive. We'll get to that in a minute. But before we go more in the build side, like usually this podcast kind of like formed itself into kind of 10 minutes of chit chat first, and then 50 minutes or 40 minutes of build session later.
Sounds good.
So before we get there, tell us more about how did you come up with public, and we'll see public in a minute. Let's actually do that. Let's see public.
I mean, the website doesn't say much yet because we're very much closed beta.
Okay. It's still closed beta.
Yes, and we're not going to plan to publicly
how is that
launch
public
anytime.
what?
With a Y.
PUBYL
PUBLYC.
LYC
.app.
So you're building this app. That's kind of what is it? What does it do?
Yes. So as I said, founder-led content is powerful. How do you start with it? LinkedIn is right now the lowest hanging fruit. It's the easiest to gain reach.
Yeah.
And especially for B2B founders, it has just the easiest ROI.
Yeah.
So we started focusing on that. I first ate my own dog food and grew my own LinkedIn channel. And then we thought, okay, how can we make this more accessible for founders?
Yeah.
What is the landscape right now? You have expensive agencies that are very slow and produce content that doesn't really feel like you. And their main goal is to not get fired. And then you have those cheap SaaS products. They're everywhere now.
Oh, I remember. Sorry to interrupt you, but I remember this video. You are a videographer as well.
Yes, I am. And
we'll talk about that.
This was actually filmed with the cheapest, shittiest setup. This was like with a $20 construction lamp.
Oh, nice. so you're gonna. For a second, I will put the audio.
They are more valuable than ever. Just building a great product is not enough anymore. The winners will be those who build trust and attention alongside their product, and that is why we created Public.
So I really like the way you did this background music and the video, like the lighting and everything. Unfortunately, our lighting today is not really nice. Like you can tell it from literally everything we are doing right now. Like that camera, everything is not really well lit because of the lights coming from upside and all these black things. But I got to know that lighting changes everything, like the tone of the video and everything. And what I see right now in your video here, lighting is a lot. than just tell us more about that. And also, I remember from our last chat in the AI Builders, you started videography a long time ago.
Yes, I started at like 10 and made first money with it like age 14, 15.
Yeah.
My main goal back then was not to build a big business, but to just make money to afford better film equipment.
and if meanwhile I'm talking, if I go to your YouTube channel, I really like your videography skills. So if I quickly do that, where is your YouTube? How
Just
can
the
I find
name,
it?
Leon Sandner.
Leon Sandner.
Sandner.
So you have 3.4K followers. Wonderful. Any of these edits that you really appreciate that I can pull it? Because I'm a very bad editor, and therefore this podcast setup was born.
And probably the reality of building a software startup.
This one?
Yes, probably the first 5 seconds.
So if I pull that, I really admire whenever your videos are out. I'm the first one kind of like copying the URL so that I don't leave like that zoom. And the way you do, and I think that has a very good
this has become with
sound effect.
Today we're going to talk about.
Let me see. Oh, were you a guest there?
No. It was just an edit. Like, it's about vibe coding, and
I see.
basically the story was like everyone online. There are so many influencers that say, "Hey, now with AI, there are no excuses.
You can build anything.
You can just build anything. You can build like Google in a week."
No.
And the main purpose of this video was to show the actual reality of it.
I see.
That yes, AI is incredibly powerful, and it really.
Yeah. And is it true that when you're a content generation wizard that I know, is it true that the very first few seconds of your video needs to be like the top notch?
They are most important.
The most important?
Like on YouTube, you first need to nail the packaging of the video, title and thumbnail. Mr. Beast says if they don't click, they don't watch. And that's the difference of YouTube to all these short form platforms.
I see, makes sense.
And then the first 5 to 10 seconds, you need to confirm the click.
Yeah.
So that the user actually sees, okay, I get what I expect.
I see. So the clickbait from thumbnail to the first few seconds, and then you let them go.
Yes,
okay.
And then ideally in the first minute, you just show them the value you provide, you convince them of the expertise, but you also open a few more questions.
I see.
Like with the packaging, you want to invoke a first curiosity gap,
I see.
and then with the intro, you want to invoke another one that users just really can't stop.
So your title says the reality of building a software startup with AI. And I don't know where to see your thumbnail.
If you go back to the channel page, that you can see.
Yeah, to the channel page. We'll come to that. Here. This is the thumbnail. Yeah. So the thumbnail shows something like cursor in the middle, and you are in the dark. Is kind of like the dark idea, something like this dark shadow that you have created for your thumbnail. Is that planned?
Yeah, that was kind of the idea to show. Okay, first of all, make people relate by showing tools that other people are also using. That's always good to show stuff people know.
Yeah.
And then in this case, it was just the kind of the darkness to it that already shows, hey, the reality might be not as glamorous as many of those influencers say.
So let's watch the very first few seconds, and then we'll get back to that.
To build an actual software startup. You've seen these posts and videos online of people saying how easy this has become with AI.
Today we're going to talk about how to use AI to build a SaaS in a weekend.
Vibe coding is the biggest opportunity of our lifetime.
Now I can just go back and forth with love.
I'm glad you didn't quote any of my videos. I have a lot of Vibe Coding 101 crash courses.
I've never written a line of code in my life. I'm not a designer. I'm just going to do whatever feels right.
I don't remember his name, but he is very famous when it comes to this.
Yeah, he's like the vibe coding influencer.
Yeah.
Whatever sounds fun.
So how hard can it be? You're motivated, you dive in, try out every AI tool.
If I remember correctly, we have the same gadgets, right? DJI Pocket 3?
Yeah.
Your voice sounds so different than mine.
I do a little bit of voice editing, like add a
okay.
compressor and an equalizer.
I only pull up DaVinci Resolve, and I literally do the following things. Like this is from my official n8n crash course that I am building. I increase this to like literally, how much do I increase it? To 10 or something? Whenever I see that this noise is to the top. And then I put like a fade in the start. And then I put a fade on the other side. That's it. And then I produce it.
It gets the job done. I think to some degree I'm actually over-engineering the audio part.
Yeah.
Just keep it simple.
No, it's really nice. All right. So we're going to get gradually to the build session. We have Public. Public is a content generator engine.
Yeah,
for
and
B2B
what we
founders.
notice, it's not only a content generator, because people, okay, yes, they need help also with creating the content itself, but especially busy founders, they need help with accountability
Yeah.
and with the strategy. This
Okay.
is what I like about agencies, like this human hand-holding, this reassurance that they're doing the right thing. And this is what we try to replicate in an automated product. Like
Okay.
Public is not just some SaaS where you go log into some dashboard and you still have to do it yourself.
Okay.
But it lives in your WhatsApp as an agent that has a lot of personalized context about you. And you can just brain dump your thoughts and Public takes care of the rest. And if you don't give in enough content ideas, Public will proactively reach out to you and ask you questions and come up with content ideas.
Nice.
So we try to fill in this big gap between expensive agencies and those cheap SaaS products.
So basically, the content game, and you just said like you hit how much? 10,000 MRR?
Yes.
Wonderful. Congratulations. That's amazing.
Thank you.
A lot of self-funded founders do not reach a couple of thousand MRR, and you nailed it. Congratulations.
Thank you. I mean, we feel a big market pull.
All right. So let's automate something with n8n. And let me know what have you done with Public in n8n.
Actually, the first MVP was completely built with n8n.
Oh yeah? The entire backend of Public was on n8n?
Yes, because I mean back then it was it was just an agent connected to WhatsApp. And now gradually it's not only n8n, but for flows where we need to iterate fast and where we like orchestrate multiple agents, for example, the copywriting flow, we still use n8n and connect it via webhook to our Next.js project.
So the front end is mainly done with Next.js,
exactly.
and back end is mainly done with
n8n, although
n8n.
right now it's probably 50-50.
Okay.
We are slowly moving to a Python backend.
Oh no, that's amazing. Like, so you're moving from n8n to Python.
Yes.
Any good reason for that?
It's more stable. We noticed a few bugs here and there, and it's very hard to figure out what is going wrong in n8n if you have more complex workflows.
Okay.
That's actually I would say the biggest reason to have.
I think I got a reason
why.
why what we should build or talk about, like abstraction. It's my favorite topic.
Yeah, happy to.
Do you mind if you share your n8n workflows that are hard, or it's not public? The public n8n workflows are not public.
I don't know if I want to share every nitty-gritty of it, but I can show you some examples of bugs that are just very weird and very annoying.
Share your screen. I'll pull your screen here, and then we look at it together.
Another thing with n8n is just collaboration is a pain in the ass.
Okay.
If you cannot collaborate live in the same workflow, it's just not built for that.
Oh yeah. Kind of like a Miro experience where you can see things.
Exactly, that would be it.
Yeah.
I actually talked to Jan, the founder of the n8n last week at Slush.
Yeah.
And gave him some feedback. They said they're working on it, but it's not their highest priority.
Yeah, exactly.
Most of the users are not using.
At the end of the day, look at this. How many times do you build a workflow, and how many million times do you run a workflow?
Yeah, fair.
So building a workflow it's not a designing tool. It's not like Canva or.
But to be honest, if I just want to build a stable workflow that just runs, I would build it in Python. There would be no need for me to do this manual n8n clicking. The only reason to go for n8n, it's easy to get started.
Wonderful. Then we got ourselves a build session.
And I would say the big advantage of n8n is this quick overview, and if you quickly want to iterate stuff. So if you don't just want to build a workflow once and let it run all the time, but if you want to fine tune the prompting and the agentic tools and stuff every day, then n8n is great.
I to be honest, disagree with you on that. n8n is so much good in that sense. I did a LinkedIn let me see if I can find that. I did a LinkedIn post about exactly the same thing, because someone else, it was not, by the way, video confession, it was not Leon who said this, because in the LinkedIn post somebody else said exactly the same thing, and I did a LinkedIn post, and that LinkedIn post somehow went viral, or semi-viral, not as viral as your posts sometimes go. So I hope I can find this post. What was it? Debugging. Debugging by me. How can I filter by me? Is there a filter on LinkedIn that says by me, should result my posts? Do you know this kind of a filter?
You want to filter out the reposts?
No, I did a post long time ago, a month ago, and it's very hard to scroll.
Do you have an image attached to the post?
Yes.
Then you can like filter by images. That makes it easier to scroll through in the top. Do you know what the image was?
Can you show me how? Just look at my screen.
Like go back to your profile
My profile.
and scroll down to the post overview.
The post overview.
And there you can, on the top of it, on the top of the post, you can filter by images.
Where do you see?
Yeah, no, the green post icon is there,
Yeah.
there are images on the right.
Nice.
And then you can show all images. And
Oh,
it's
nice.
much
Good.
quicker.
Then it's much. This I didn't know exists at all. I will remember that because it was a debugging feature. Perhaps this one. No, this is the width dry. This one. Wonderful. So we found this. Exactly. This post. Wonderful. So if I open this post in detail, how can I open it in detail? But anyways, I will just use this much. So I was showing this to someone, and I was debugging this, preparing for a workshop. By the way, when crazy workshops, I have done 40 plus workshops only in 8-9 months. So you can imagine how many workshops did I do. This morning I had a workshop 4-hour long. So I was debugging this and preparing for a debugging session, and then I'm this guy doing coding for 23 years in a row, nonstop, almost 24. And I have seen all sorts of debuggers. I come from Notepad++. If this thing rings a bell, like Notepad++ is an extremely old, not IDE, it's a Notepad. It's a Notepad that's better. Maybe I can quickly show you that. Notepad++ is a very old school editor, and it looks something like this. And we were able to do debugging in this kind of a place. I don't know what are those colors, but it looks something like this. All the tabs would open here, and I was writing JavaScript and PHP and so on. And then I'm here looking at this screen. In the morning of the same day, somebody is telling me n8n is hard to debug. As I said, this is not Leon. Leon by chance, or is going to challenge the same thing, and I'm super happily welcoming this. Is that it's so easy with n8n? Ironically speaking, it's much easier to debug something when it fails, as compared to the old school coding.
As compared to like 25 years ago coding, yes.
No, as compared to like 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Okay, but you have to compare it to coding now.
Well, I'm doing coding now. I have been doing coding nonstop. So 17 years JavaScript, 10 years TypeScript, 8-9 years React, Node.js, and Python 4 years, Solidity, Rust. So all of these skills that I have, and all of these tiny little things that I have, even like I built a tiny project that is kind of around. Let me show you this small open source project that I have. Is a Docker container containing multiple AI agent coding tools that is kind of like bouncing ideas with each other using this taskmaster in the middle. Really complex engineering thing. It's just Docker files and some shell files. But I'm saying, like, when I see debugging in n8n, and I see debugging in the old school. By old school, I mean 2 years ago, 3 years ago, pre-AI, pre-November 2023.
Yeah.
I see another thing. I say that n8n is easier to debug if and only if your workflows are nicely done.
But it is easier compared to 2 years ago. But like a solid code base with Cloud Code 4.5 Sonnet by your side is a pleasure to debug.
Okay. I especially about this.
And I feel an issue with n8n is that actually sometimes it's not a bug where I made a mistake in my workflow, but it's an actual n8n bug.
Yeah.
Because of course there are bugs. Like it's such a complex product that can do so much stuff. Of course there are issues here.
Then let's get something on this plate. Let's bring something that you see that it was so hard to debug. And if you can give me the JSON, I'll try to use this thing on it. I teach this now, a dry, wet, and aha principle. What it means is like, don't repeat yourself as a killer of productivity. Don't do abstraction too much. Write everything twice is one step better in that direction. But this guy called Kent C. Dodds, he came with this idea of aha programming, and I was, wow, that makes absolute sense. Avoid hasty abstractions. Don't do abstraction in day one, and then do abstractions later on. And if you have followed this principle and you optimized your architecture of your workflows over time, and you didn't let it grow that big, I think n8n is easier to debug. Please change my mind on this podcast.
I mean,
Let's do it.
I can just like describe some bugs that I faced
Sure.
in the past. Like for example, when you make a HTTP request to some other API and you want to send them a JSON.
Let me follow that thought process. So since
I
your
don't know. I don't
workflows
think
might
we can
not
replicate that right now because like I fixed it on all the things. But very often, if you want to send a JSON through a HTTP request, n8n does this weird parsing of the text that you enter in the field.
I see.
And there you need to do like a custom code node before to clean it up so that n8n doesn't fuck it up.
So let's do that. So if I pass a little post in here, I'm going to pass some post data here, and it will contain some JSON. Where is my postman here? Okay, so here we go. I have this postman in here. It's going to send a post request to this endpoint. And here, what JSON should I send? Anything? Let's say
some stuff with like that where the n8n parser will fail.
Okay, so name is an object that has a first name and last name. Is that a good enough JSON, or should we make it complicated?
Make it a bit more complicated, maybe.
What else? Age. What else?
Yeah, I think that's good. And then see if it...
Okay, so if I send this over, I got it. Let's spin it so I don't need to send it over. Again, now you want to do something with this JSON that came in here.
Yeah, very often it happens if you want to, like, if you manipulate it in some way, and then you want to send it off to another API via HTTP request.
Okay, so let's say I have an HTTP request. For the sake of making it easy, I'm gonna call it workflow 1 n8n debugging, so I can remember it. And then we create another workflow. We call it workflow 2 n8n debugging. I'll make another webhook that's gonna respond. And it's going to be a post. And we'll just not do nothing and then respond back. And just respond back whatever it received. Good enough?
Yeah, let's try.
So let's make it public. Get this API. Although in this case, it has to be like a what do you call it? A sub workflow because it's inside n8n, but we're just making a point here so that I have a post here, and the payload, if I send the payload here as a JSON, you want to send this JSON, this data to this JSON, right?
Yes, the body, exactly.
So the entire body, you want to send the entire body in here. And this will fail.
I think this might be a step where it fails. I don't know if that's exactly how to replicate it.
So it sent back to me the same body.
Yeah.
So, no, did I understand it correctly? Like in
I
these
think it's if you specify the body not using JSON but using fields.
Ah, okay. This I haven't thought about. So if I change it to fields.
Yeah, I think one.
Here. send. Where do you see send body? Not JSON, but form data or something like this.
Yeah, but to be honest, if I look here in the workflow, and we actually also just send the body using raw JSON.
Yeah.
And we still needed to do this code node before to.
Do you have
it
like
up.
the S3? We can have a look at your actual logs.
I just scrolled back. I just see it until November 1st. And this is when we already fixed it. But to be honest, like this was just a minor example of something that like took unnecessarily long to figure out.
Okay.
And like also, I don't know, when doing like Postgres connection to Supabase, it just one day it worked, another day I have another Supabase project, it just didn't work. And like there are just things that make you slowly lose trust in it over time, where you think, okay, hey, usually if you have full trust in the product, you think, okay, it's my mistake, let me figure it out. And at some point of noticing a few bugs where it's really not in your hand, you lose trust, and then you get demotivated and don't want to figure it out because you're like, it's a 50-50 chance that it's not in my hand and it's an issue on the n8n side. This is kind of like the psychological factor.
It sounds more to me an architectural decision making than a problem exactly on n8n. And I really want to see those kind of use cases. If you have any workflow that
I can actually show you one workflow where I have actually no clue why.
Sure, let's
didn't
observe
work.
that. I will bring your screen to the screen.
Let me share my screen.
There we go. Now I will share that one. All right, so we are looking at your screen now.
Yes, so this is basically like a scraping workflow, and then we just get the scraped data from the database.
Can you go backwards to see the starting points?
Yeah, it's a webhook.
So there's a webhook, and you have.
But all of this is fine. Like you then.
Oh, why? I see there's something like you do send respond webhook.
This is just that our frontend knows, okay, the webhook connection worked.
Okay.
Then you go to our sub workflows where we do the scraping. This also works.
I have a question. It's I don't know the answer myself. When you do send respond to webhook, does the life scope of the workflow die or not? Can you scroll to the left a little bit more? So if you see my screen from here onwards, oh, you have only one screen. Sorry. If you only share your
I know, but it's in a different
tab. Okay, that's fine.
Workspace.
So if you go back to your screen, so if I describe it here, when respond to webhook happens, there's a question I think ChatGPT should also be able to answer. Does the life scope of you keep it there? Isn't it like this? rest.json in Node.js. So no, close this, please. Isn't that like rest.json or rest.send in case of a Next.js web server, whatever it is, a Next.js or a simple web server, whatever web server you use. If you take the response object and you send it over, and then in the next line you do something, for example.
But
whatever.
like this is like it doesn't this respond to echo. It doesn't really matter. It's just that we know, okay, it connected, but it doesn't send any information back yet. Okay, it's just a 200 okay status code, basically.
Let's check it out. So if I have this webhook that we just used, and if I responded back, now you can look at my screen quickly so that we can test this thing out. If I have a respond to webhook, sorry, that's wrong. And we are gonna add a respond to webhook. Oh no, by design it sounds like it should be because it has a way to do some more stuff in it.
Yeah.
Let's say if I want to wait for 5 seconds and then do another HTTP request, I will just do the same HTTP request here to just make a point. And if I execute it, yeah, it's running. But I was assuming that this respond is equal to rest.send when it comes to a web server, but actually the execution dies from the HTTP requesting side, from the postman or whatever is requesting this, it dies from here onwards, but the execution continues flowing on this side.
And in our case, it doesn't matter.
So yeah, okay. Then let's go back to your screen, please.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so then we do the scraping, then we merge the data. Okay, that all doesn't, and then we go to Supabase and get the scraping data to feed it to an agent to work with it.
Okay.
And this worked for weeks.
Okay.
and
then suddenly it stopped.
And then in one random workflow, it just stopped here. And it didn't output the data, although it was in the database. And when I manually ran the workflow afterwards, like executing each step, it just worked again with the data.
I see.
And there's no way to understand why it didn't output data.
And it's that exact same case where you have this get post. Does it have a timeout? Maybe 12 seconds.
It doesn't have a timeout. I mean, it's just a simple database request that takes like 10 milliseconds.
Maybe the data. Is it a race condition? Could it be?
It's not. And again, like when pinning all the previous data from this exact same execution and executing each step.
It's because the data was already in the database. If it could be a race condition, the data did not exist in the database by the time this request happened. And this is true. It didn't output. And now I got you there. Hold on, Leon.
I don't think
I got you there. Go back there.
It only continues when the scraping here is done.
It is okay. Let's go back there. I have a question.
Yeah.
Your get post is so optimistically going forward, thinking that the get post exists, and I see there could have been a race condition. Why didn't you put some guardrails, not the guardrails node, but the guardrails logic guardrails that it checks and then it retries? Can you double click that or copy to editor? So go to settings. And this display, no, not this one, but it doesn't, this node doesn't, but AI agent has this retry node.
Yeah,
so you
has
could,
that.
This doesn't have it, but you could build a retry logic around this node if it does not return anything.
But again, building a retry logic in n8n for this node that doesn't have it pre-built, I would say it takes way longer than just doing it in code.
Obviously, and especially vibe coding it. Yeah.
Yes. So that's kind of my point. And I really don't think that, here, this only executes when both flows are done, right?
Yeah, the merge does that, but scrape LinkedIn profile, but it doesn't say that. Can you double click on the scrape LinkedIn profile? It's a sub workflow that, but it doesn't mean that the database. Can I see one of those scrape sub workflows? Double click that, and then open the sub workflow, and
I mean, it executed.
So here, update row, create a row. Create a row happens, and then it goes on. It keeps creating rows, right? It's a loop. And then it can happen. It sounds to me, the mere fact of this, that if you spend, hey, look at that, 1 minute 17 seconds. Look at that. This sub workflow that you just opened, it took 1 minute 17 seconds. And your parent workflow took 12 seconds. So it apparently is the question is, wait a minute, that's another question. 12 seconds. So this is the question. Okay.
That's true, that doesn't make sense.
Why did it return? Did you optimistically return? Can you go back to that workflow, please?
To the
sub workflow? And zoom out the sub workflow to see the whole concept, the whole thing. Zoom in a little bit.
I can make it a new window.
I don't see when does it return back here. Can you zoom in on the place in Google Meet? It doesn't show nicely. Where does it return back to the caller workflow? Apparently, it is a race condition. My gut feeling was correct. Look, it doesn't have this return back to the caller. Can you scroll to the left?
But I mean, doesn't it automatically return once the execution is over? And the execution is over when the loop is over.
Yeah, the loop has the done. Look at the done. The done is free. The loop done is empty. The loop has these two little dots. The upper dot is the done part. Can you zoom in on your loop, please? There, that upper dot is the done part. So if you copy it to editor, click on copy to editor, and then zoom in on your loop, please. There. So the done part is empty.
But why doesn't why can't it be empty? Like, doesn't empty just mean okay, it's over and we're gonna send it back?
I don't know how internally n8n does it. It's 1.1 million lines of code. I could check it out, but apparently
that's the transparency
no.
of it.
No, this is cool. Like, we're talking about 10 minutes about this, and I'm seeing that there is a race condition literally from the conversation of this.
Yeah.
And I think as n8n landing page says, flexible AI workflow automation for technical teams. And I think it makes sense because look at this. I give always this example that if there are two CTOs talking to each other, or a CTO but this was a very good example. Thank you for sharing that.
Welcome.
I'll now try to see if I can do a little bit of a flow-gramming to kind of recreate this race condition. This would be nice. Otherwise, we'll close the podcast as it's been a little bit longer build session. What I'm trying to say is, if a VP of engineering and a CTO are talking to each other, what is it going to be the medium of conversation between them? Is it going to be code? Or is it going to be a whiteboard like this, and then they go over the whiteboard and with marker they draw lines, boxes,
Create the flow, yeah.
Flow. So I see n8n as a very natural evolution of programming or building products. Why? Because in this case of VP of engineering and CTO, they both know when they talk about Kubernetes. They both know when they talk about a load balancer and stuff like that. So that means we're literally in the moment when AI is coming at a place where we say that, okay, AI is good, PhD plus IQ. It can understand natural language. Why can it not understand these pictures of these whiteboards, a conversation between two technical people? It can. And this is that format of this. And these workflows coming to life is kind of like the future of how products should be built. And I believe there will be a kind of natural resistance. Like, you're not a programmer, a technical deep programmer, but I have seen a lot of Java developers who are resisting so much to get into I was guilty of this myself. Don't tell anyone. I'm now an n8n investor in trying to take n8n to the world. But I was guilty of this. Like, I have been following n8n since 2020, 2019, when it started, like literally city mates and so on.
Yeah.
But I never bought into it in a, how do you call it, in a serious way until when I did this. I think you might know the story, but until I did a very serious project, a serious startup, I got this Techstars acceleration program, and I built this AI agent, this voice AI agent. And this is happening in 2023 and 2024. And it's all over the place, and we're doing everything. But one thing I discover is that, hey, how do I do my orchestration layer? And this is what I did. Like, literally the entire orchestration of this, the entire orchestration here was done entirely with n8n. And I think if I would have not chosen that path, despite the fact my company is no more, we had to liquidate it, but we had to choose between whether we're going to adopt a drag and drop solution or we're going to keep building all by ourselves.
Yeah, but to be honest, I think it doesn't have to be a black and white question. From my experience, like, I think it makes sense to plug it together in a way that works. Like, for right now, okay, we built like the solid foundation with stuff that we don't need to touch all the time in Python. We just know, okay, it works. And when there's an error, we have an easier time figuring it out. And everything where we constantly want to iterate and fine tune, I really see the value in n8n. Like I love n8n. It makes a lot of fun building with it. I just don't see that it's the one and only tool for everything.
Right.
So I think it makes sense to orchestrate and really
Yes.
be deliberate about when to use what.
Exactly.
And for example, this multi-agent orchestration, like giving it different tools and sub-agents and stuff like this, like n8n is so awesome for that. Like it's way more fun and way easier to understand what's happening.
Yes.
So this is perfect then to build an n8n. So I think just be deliberate on when to choose what.
Absolutely. I think I would kind of like conclude it in there to pick the right tool for the right job.
Yeah.
And I think it's very, very hard to say it black and white, especially for a company that's run by 2 people. It's very hard to say which tool is the right tool. Because if you are a Java developer and you really like writing code in Java, it may be a very big shift, mentality shift, to start using n8n. But if you're someone who started n8n and then went to Java, then it makes sense that you build it in n8n. And even bigger organizations, corporations, when they're building, like adopting AI, either they go with LangChain and build this with Python and LangChain or LangGraph, or they adopt n8n and then they keep building. At some point in time, especially big organizations, especially these enterprises with hundreds of developers, dozens of units, having different technologies running their entire tech stack, it's very hard to decide on one thing. Therefore, microservices was born. Therefore, micro frontends was born, a totally different era. I lived that. And now what I see as happening is exactly in the same AI adoption rates. There will be, imagine this huge architecture as CIO or CTO of a big company, enterprise company looking at, he will see a lot of colorful logos on that architecture.
Yeah.
In small pieces of there and there and there, it will start bubbling n8n logo, n8n workflows, but they will be isolated in their own little zone. They will have these webhooks kind of like streaming back and forth the data to the entire big architecture. But at the end of the day, it's an amazing AI implementation platform. If you adopt AI, automating with n8n, it's making it so easy. Maybe I'm biased because I'm an n8n ambassador and I'm the CTO of an n8n expert company.
Potentially.
But this particular use case that you had, I wish I would have had 10 of those use cases every day. I believe most of them are architectural decisions that can be changed. And get this thing. You guys are already on Python or just moving to Python?
Some part is already on Python.
Some part is on. In a couple of months, I'll see you again. And I believe that you will see again the same similar errors in Python as well. So it's not n8n, it's the architecture. That was the decision making that
I see that, yes, in most cases. Then the question is just what makes it easier to build a good architecture?
Experience?
Of course.
Yeah, and I believe making a good architecture experience in terms of not how many years of experience you have, but experience in terms of evolving your product. So the experience of the product.
Yeah.
That will make the best architecture. So not perfecting the product before launching, but build a little bit, launch, fail, build, launch, fail, refinement in a loop. Yeah. Thank you so much. That was a lot of fun. Man, this was cool. We did survive. This is a new feature of my product called, let me switch it like this. There you go. And this survived. Like, it is a new feature of Vibe Stage that is doing these dual cameras, and it survived the test. I don't know. I think we did it for 45 minutes or so. It is it's good to go. I just need to put some lighting or something so that I can do it when it's dark. And as you guys can see, it is almost dark outside. And Leon, thank you so much for joining the podcast.
Yeah, thank you.
Hopefully next time we'll do something with
Next
videos
time we actually
and
build
pictures.
something.
We'll
Yeah,
build something.
the original plan for you guys was to do something visual with the new Nano Banana and Vue.
Oh, indeed, we did have a plan to
became
do
a n8n therapy session.
Yeah, I wish you would not say that I'm leaving n8n. I hope you will not leave n8n.
I mean,
If
we
you
won't
do,
leave it totally. As I said, it's not black and white.
Yeah.
And it was interesting
Yeah.
to see how you approach solving this problem.
Yes.
So that was a cool
And I hope
experience.
even if you do leave n8n, you come back.
I will never fully leave it. Like,
You-
I
you
like
know.
n8n.
Yeah, keep prototyping. Very nice to meet
All
you.
right.
Thank you so much.
Likewise.
Thanks a lot. And see you guys. Bye
See
bye.
you.
Oh, I forgot to record. There was no recording running.
No, it's a joke.
Yeah, it's a joke. It could make a nice reel, short reel.